What's up everyone, it's yours truly SmarKdown welcoming you to another video here in the WWE World Champions Review Series. Today we are looking back at the year 2007 and the WWE Champions we got in that year. Second of all, I want to thank you guys for choosing to spend your time during these hard times with me watching my video on my channel. I hope you guys are safe, I hope you stay safe, and I promise you we will all get through this together how it should be done. So let's start the video looking at the WWE Championship. The WWE Championship was on Raw in the year 2007. It had been on Raw since the 2005 draft. We'll get through that later in the 2005 video. The WWE Championship scene over on Raw in 2007 was mostly dominated by one man though. Cena held the title for over a year, having captured it still in 2006 in the month of September from Edge in their epic TLC match. Unfortunately though, Cena spent the rest of his 2006 without defending the belt once on pay-per-view, despite being the WWE Champion since September, which means those were the last 3 months of 2006. No title defenses on pay-per-views, instead doing other things, such as wrestling for King Booker's World Championship at Cyber Sunday, wrestling a traditional Survivor Series match at the Classic event, teaming with SmackDown's champion Batista on a SmackDown pay-per-view, or feuding with, God help us, Kevin Federline. Thankfully though, the calendar turned from 2006 into 2007, and this year turned out to be much better. Yes, Cena was still the same boring persona on Raw, hated by pretty much everyone not under 12, but the tough bastard just kept on delivering on pay-per-view. He wrestled a series of 2 matches with Umaga in January 2007, becoming the first wrestler to pin Umaga with the dreaded Samoan Slater roll-up of doom at New Year's Revolution in their first encounter, before defeating Umaga in a violent and quite epic, might I add, last man standing bout at the Royal Rumble. After that, of course, Cena got into a feud with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels and John Cena were tag team champions for a while, because of course they were. At No Way Out, John Cena teamed with Shawn Michaels representing Raw against SmackDown's WrestleMania opponents, much like Cena and Michaels were WrestleMania opponents over on Raw. The team of Batista and The Undertaker, who were feuding over the World Heavyweight Championship. They teased dissension between John Cena and Shawn Michaels heading into that match, and then Vince Russo style swerve, it was Batista who turned on The Undertaker, and John Cena and Shawn Michaels captured the victory in that match. Fast forward to WrestleMania, John Cena delivered yet another fantastic match, which would become pretty much a tradition, a habit of having great matches. At WrestleMania 23, Cena and Shawn Michaels wrestled a fantastic match. One of Cena's best at WrestleMania, perhaps the greatest in his entire career at WrestleMania still to this day. John Cena retained the title by making Shawn Michaels submit to the STFU, which hurt a lot of people's feelings, but you know, he had already made Triple H tap out the prior year. John Cena was there to stay. Like him or not, John Cena was proving in the ring that he deserved to stay there on top, and he was going to be there for a while. The next month, Backlash, John Cena and Shawn Michaels continued to feud, and they were joined by former tag team champions Edge and Randy Orton. Match at Backlash is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, much like WrestleMania. John Cena, of course, once again retained the title. Despite eating a sweet chin music, he fell on top of one of the other opponents and won the match. It's one of the most, unique finishes in pay-per-view history, in title matches history, but John Cena delivered yet another fantastic match, and then came the biggest challenge of John Cena's career, having a good match with the Great Khali. You know that's not easy. You know it's not easy to have a good match with the Great Khali, and if you were a fan in 2007, you were probably expecting this to be absolutely horrible. You were probably expecting this to be the total but no, John Cena somehow, some way kept on delivering with the Great Khali. First of all, their match at Judgment Day, yes, it was a bit weak, but still, for Great Khali standards, it was okay-ish. The match at One Night Stand, however, when it comes to the Great Khali standards, was like a 7-star match in the Tokyo Dome. It was absolutely fantastic. John Cena delivered yet another good match despite the limitations of his opponent. Your typical giant versus underdog feud that everyone has seen 7,000 times in their lives. But John Cena somehow delivered yet again. After the Great Khali came a weird month of June, where John Cena feuded with pretty much everyone on the Raw roster, and he took the title to Vengeance Night of Champions, as it was called that year, for reasons we don't understand. John Cena defended the title that night against King Booker, Randy Orton, Mick Foley, and Bobby Lashley. Of course, John Cena won that match. He retained his championship. The match was good. Not as good, I would say, as most of John Cena's matches throughout this reign, but still incredible how one of John Cena's weakest matches, if we can call it weakest, like one of his not so good matches, let's put it that way, was still a pretty solid match. John Cena retained, and from that, it turned into a singles feud with one of the participants in that 5-pack challenge, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley was being used as, he was being called the uncrowned champion. Of course, Lashley, in case you don't remember, had been the ECW World Champion, lost the title to Vince McMahon, won it back at One Night Stand. But then the following week, Lashley was drafted to Raw while still reigning as ECW champion and was forced to vacate his title. Lashley did get a shot at John Cena's WWE Championship at the Great American Bash, though, having won a Beat the Clock challenge. You know, that weird little thing they used to do. Anyway, the two had a fantastic match at the Great American Bash, possibly one of the best in Bobby Lashley's WWE career, at least, and one of the best matches of John Cena's title reign this year, in 2007. The two put on a beautiful match, to be honest. John Cena won with his super FU, the one off the top rope, which looks cool and actually protects Bobby Lashley, even though he didn't really need it, because he would leave a few weeks later due to injury and then would be eventually released in January 2008, having wrestled his last pay-per-view match for the WWE in almost 11 years here at the Great American Bash. Match is fantastic. Another recommendation for you to watch as part of this reign. Speaking of recommended matches for you to watch as part of this reign, it's time to talk about John Cena and Randy Orton. And yes, I know, John Cena versus Randy Orton in the same sentence as recommended is a rare thing. It is rare. But in 2007, when they feuded for the first time and they weren't having, a match pretty much every day of the week for like 4 months like they did 2 years after this, it actually felt fresh. It felt new, and people were invested in this match, in this program, in this storyline. At SummerSlam, the two put on their best match together. Simply their best match. You can watch that match back. You will see headlocks getting a bigger reaction than now a corkscrew plancha or whatever the hell does. You will see almost like Hulk Hogan style, John Cena putting on a headlock on Randy Orton and the crowd booing him shit all over John Cena. And then Randy Orton blocks that, puts him in a headlock of his own, and the crowd explodes, almost Hulk Hogan style, like I said. And in the end, John Cena wins with the FU. He retains the title. The two then, for some reason, have another match at Unforgiven, which is, first of all, it's short, a bit short, but also not that great. And then features a really weird finish where John Cena gets disqualified by kicking too much ass in the corner, pretty much, and John Cena then vacated the title a couple of weeks later on Raw due to a legitimate injury. John Cena would be out for the rest of that year, returning a couple of months later at the Royal Rumble to win the match and earn a shot at WrestleMania. No Way Out, because of course Of course, use your shot at No Way Out, not WrestleMania. Anyway, John Cena was set to defend his WWE Championship in a last man standing match at No Mercy on October 7th, 2007. Unfortunately, due to injury, he was forced to leave and vacated the title. That leads us to our next WWE champion who did not, unlike John Cena, keep that title for very long. I'm talking about Randy Orton, of course, who was given the title and then lost the title in the opening match of No Mercy to Triple H. Speaking of Triple H, don't worry, his reign was longer. I think it lasted like, let me see, it lasted probably an hour more than Randy's did. Yeah, Triple H won the title in the opener of No Mercy, took it to the mid-card match, to his mid-card match with Umaga, retained the title, but then WWE, in a nice move, delivered the last man standing main event match they had promised to the fans, instead with Triple H playing the babyface role instead of John Cena. What came afterwards, though, was Randy Orton's reign that we now know as the Age of Orton. Randy Orton won the championship, first of all, in that last man standing match with Triple H in the main event of No Mercy. It was a really good match. Also, much like Orton's match with Cena at SummerSlam, this match with Triple H at No Mercy was the highlight of a very weird feud between Orton and Triple H. They never really clicked that much, in my opinion. After that, Randy Orton took the championship to a feud with Shawn Michaels. First of all, they wrestled at Cyber Sunday in a match that Randy Orton lost by disqualification, retaining his WWE Championship on purpose. As Shawn Michaels went for the sweet chin music, Randy Orton simply punched him in the dick. And then at Survivor Series, the two wrestled in a rematch, a fantastic rematch, might I add, where if Randy Orton used the disqualification loss tactic he's been using for some reason, despite spending the entire year of 2007 taking out legends such as Shawn Michaels, Dusty Rhodes, Rob Van Dam, etc., you name it. Randy Orton, for some reason, won the WWE title and became a chicken heel. That is one of those WWE decisions that are really weird and I can't explain to you. But yeah, Randy Orton started getting intentionally disqualified all the time. So at Survivor Series, he couldn't get disqualified, but Shawn Michaels also couldn't use sweet chin music. That created a very unique and interesting story and psychology between their match. A fantastic match between them at Survivor Series. Randy Orton finally got a victory as the WWE champion, despite being the champion for, I don't know, at this point, over a month. This was his first real win. He probably won matches against undercarders on Raw, but this was finally a win for Randy Orton, a much needed victory for Randy Orton. Speaking of much needed wins for Randy Orton, at the next pay-per-view, we were back to where we were before, at the Cyber Sunday show. Randy feuded with Chris Jericho and retained via disqualification loss. The match was your typical WWE main event style match and ended with your typical WWE sports entertainment finish, with the commentator JBL getting Orton disqualified, getting involved, and starting a feud between JBL and Jericho. So yeah, there's your WWE champion, the guy that was kicking ass at the start of the year 2007, now ending the year as whatever this is. Call him Lucky, call him Chicken Shit, call him the Honky Tonk Man, call him whatever you want. It wasn't good. Then at the Royal Rumble, Randy feuded with Jeff Hardy, a hot babyface who was really getting over at the time. Jeff got at the Royal Rumble the reception of a star. The reception of a star in Madison Square Garden, one of the arena that Vince McMahon loves, and the fans that Vince McMahon really, really listens to. The match between Orton and Jeff Hardy, taking a look at the potential of what could have been and of how much Jeff Hardy was getting over. It was a bit, I'm not going to say disappointing. It was your typical, much like Jericho, it was your typical WWE main event style match. And it featured one of those finishes where the fans just look at each other and go like, that's it. It was still a good match. But it could and should have been more. Speaking of could and should have been more, though, then came the feud with John Cena. The shot that John Cena won at the Royal Rumble. You know, the shot that usually happens at WrestleMania, and John decided to have it No Way Out for reasons we don't really understand. Randy retained his championship by, you guessed it, slapping the referee in the face. After No Way Out came the WrestleMania triple threat with Triple H and John Cena. You know, sort of a rushed storyline in my opinion. Triple H won the Elimination Chamber match. John Cena chose to cash in his shot at No Way Out like an idiot. But the match was fine. The match was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. It was a decent WrestleMania match for the WWE Championship. Considering it's a WWE Championship, considering it's WrestleMania, and considering you have a guy like Ric Flair being retired on that night by a babyface, and I know we all love the I'm sorry, I love you visual and the match with Shawn Michaels, but does an established babyface like Shawn Michaels need that, or does a heel like Randy Orton, a legend killer, a guy with history with Ric Flair, a guy who's actually a bad guy and puts legends away? In my opinion, the story was there and it was a missed opportunity. I love the match with Shawn. I love the I'm sorry, I love you segment, visual, whatever you want to call it. But I will say, Randy Orton and Ric Flair, it had potential to be this match of Randy Orton retiring Ric Flair like a dick. But you know what I'm talking about. I think it would fit Randy Orton's character a lot more than it did Shawn Michaels. After retaining at WrestleMania, he lost the title at the next pay-per-view, Backlash, in an elimination match against John Cena, Triple H, and JBL. Randy lasted until the final two with Triple H and lost the championship back to Hunter, who went on to have a long reign in 2008. So these were the WWE Champions of the year 2007. We will be looking back at the World Heavyweight Champions in another video next time, hopefully soon. I definitely hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like down below. Smash that like button. Make sure you comment. Make sure you let me know things you would like to see in this series, things you'd like to see me add, things you don't like. You know, any suggestion you have, you guys are free to drop them down below. Once again, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for choosing to spend your time with me. Once again, guys, stay safe. This is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bye.